do. Hello, hi, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Hi. Low. Chimneys without factories, smoke without chimneys, homeless smoke. Vítku?
And many of you are maybe more familiar with post-colonial theory than we are, because within few exceptions, in East European intellectual milieu, post-colonialism was simply absent and is still on certain extent until now. The city are people. The city are the people. It's a quote from Plato's Constitution. And the inhabitants of a temporary city are the artists, are us, and later on the visitors.
They call me tool, dreamer. They call me you, he, we, they. They call me I, me. After Nina Simone.
Personality cult, land art. Liberation, happening. 1955. Book exhibition, censorship as a general concept, installation. What we can do with culture: A, deconstruct, B, incorporate, C, construct, ready-made. Culture is a superstructure itself, life statue. 1956. God is dead, catastrophic event. Is there a party that is able to represent democratic rights and the freedom of the individual? Parade banners. The possibility for propaganda in society, action. The evolution of developed, conscious and critical individuals, action.
A model of the universe as a society similar to how the human world is organized, in which the various entities cooperate together or compete against each other. A model of the universe as a constitution in which each of the participants draws up its own paragraph of a common constitution, its own rules and rights of coexistence.
Theories that only collect ideas of how does the world works. Just collecting the thing of how it is constructed. So what about asking people about how does the world works? So in the end, this non-specialized knowledge is the thing that is controlling my activities, my gestures, and my approach to the world. I have more space of known knowledge than of knowledge.
So, my dear friends, we have to conclude. We have to come to the end with this 2 days coffee breaks. My conclusion, my resume of coffee break would be in some way an introduction in a common discussion between three groups, three curatorial teams of Manifesta 8, and obviously with you.
One thing that it was interesting for me and for Khaled as well, I think it's precisely the same thing that Christine actually spoke about in their first presentation of yesterday, that if you're talking about the dialogue with North Africa, imposed or not imposed or demanded or kind of expected or kind of somehow generated for a number of conditions and self-generated for myself as well. Maybe we should also address before the dialogue in Murcia and Cartagena. I mean, we are here somehow, so it's good. And talking about universalism as well, it's kind of a structure or deconstruction and go down into detail somehow in order to see how this I don't know. I feel that if you take the whole dialogue with North Africa is an abstract term, and it's as you said, is somehow how the individual and the minimal, the intimate effect is on it, and I think that could be a first step, for instance, and I think it came. This idea came out also in what we researched and we put on the table. We were developing our idea actually to how we transfer this idea to the local situation, and the working with the local media, for instance, was one of the tools we have really. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it. I don't know. Boris, you were about to say something about it, I think.
No, I think there are several problems. One problem is that to call something dialogue before asking the other side if
they want the dialogue,
if they will, is a very problematic gesture, if it's a gesture. So I think, I think this word dialogue and reconsidering this word, I think it will be coming back, still. So practically, it's not a dialogue. Practically is invitation because somebody wants to listen to you. And I think this is a much more correct situation, If somebody invites you because he's interested in what you will say.
But are they interested in what we say? That's.
I think the first thing is to define the word "they."
Yes.
And I think it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because somehow the platform is already created, and somehow we are free how to use it. Free is maybe problematic, but we can use it. In innovative, individual, we can discuss, or we can say like, I don't speak to you. We have this chance.
I think there are two levels here. I mean, I think one level is the way this kind of event functions internally, which I think will always be, somehow, it will always leave traces of effects behind, right? It will always touch some people, and I think it somehow, on many levels, it does do something. It does leave something behind.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the kind of, so this is the internal level, and then there's the external level, which is the level at which this kind of event is subdued to capitalist logic, or actually produced by capitalist logic. And I think on this kind of level, it's actually, I think it's become almost like a machine. These things are produced almost in a mechanical way, as justifications. I mean, defining our audience and our colleagues and the people who we want to interact with is very important from the beginning. Not like a strict definition, but an imagination, And our imagination doesn't include the EU, right? It doesn't include the. It includes, people like us, the audience that are around us. Because if we start imagining that actually what we're doing is somehow not an instrument used by, an EU mentality, then we're in deep trouble, I think. You know what I mean? We know that there is some sort of instrumentalization for this. So it's about how we function within the instrumentalization of this proposition. That is, I think, is interesting and will always be in these kinds of situations.
Therefore, not to be trapped in the logic of colonial mentality, some call it EU mentality, but this is, I think it dates much larger back, long back, and to try to continue the experiment by giving it a new title in North Africa, a dialogue with North Africa. In my eyes, I see it. This is continuing the experiment or try to investigate what is the outcome after the colonial period in North Africa. Now the dictatorship, now the economical situation, and so on. What is the outcome? Here you go, 3 curators, an institution, a region wish you to investigate further for us and come with a report, come with evaluation in the end, and let's see if this is going to be put part of on the bookshelves that goes to the 7 levels, or is it going to stay useful in the practical times? So
it's something that we have started. So and the event is taking place in 10 months. So in this sense, I see this as an important step in between 3 of us at least, and I hope that it was useful somehow for public, because yes, that's my point.
Thank you. Thank you to
very much.
everybody.
Thank you.